Jerry Lawler. You know, I loved working with Jerry Lawler. I didn't at the onset when we first started working. Jerry, if you remember, I won the King of the Ring. I had 3 really hard matches. The one with Bam Bam was really quite a long day at the office. And I really did sort of crawl back to the dressing room. I was in a lot of agony that night, but what happened to me before, after the match with Bam Bam, when I won the King of the Ring, Jerry Lawler attacked me, if you remember, and picked up that big wooden throne that was there as a prop, but it weighed about, I don't know, 150 pounds, that chair or something. It was a big, heavy chair. Jerry proceeded to pick that big chair up and try to, I don't know, he thought it was balsa wood or what, but he smashed it all over top of me, and I think he dropped it on my hand even. And anyway, I was in a lot of pain from the throne being dropped on my back, and then even after that, Jerry Lawler picked that scepter up and thought that would break over my back like a toothpick or something, and instead he about killed me with that thing, and it hurt me for months, maybe 3 or 4 months, to take a deep breath. I couldn't even take a deep breath because I was in a lot of pain from that. But so that was the beginning of our setup for working with each other down the road, and I was going to get even with Jerry Lawler. I was going to fix him good when I saw him at SummerSlam for real. And I didn't say anything to him. I never mentioned to him that, hey, you know, that scepter hurt a lot, and you're going to pay for it. Or I just kept my thoughts to myself, but I waited. And sometime that summer, I don't know what it was, but he was in some kind of a situation with, I was in a match with Owen, and I just know that Jerry Lawler came out and did something, and he ended up splitting Owen's head open in an accident. It was totally an accident, but he was pretty reckless, I thought, at the time, with some of the props like the scepter, the throne, and whatever it was he used on Owen. So he had another big receipt coming for what he did to Owen too. And then I got to wrestle on SummerSlam, and it was like I was going to take out all my frustrations out on Jerry and take out all those months of being in pain. And Jerry had no idea that I was fixing to get even in this match. And if you ever watch that match, Jerry decides to come in the ring and wrap that crutch around my face, which was like the cherry on the cake. Like if you thought he was going to get me, if thought I was mad before that, I was like really mad, because that almost busted my face open really bad. If you thought that was real, or a prop crutch or balsa wood, it was a real crutch. It hurt like hell. And so if you ever watch that match, when Gorilla Monsoon gave us the green light and said that I could wrestle Jerry Lawler, or he had to wrestle me, that he couldn't get out of it. Every punch when I fought Jerry back to the ring was real. It was right in the face, and I was beating the crap out of him. And Jerry didn't know what the hell was going on. But I remember at the very end of the match when I put him in the sharpshooter, and we'd gone over this earlier in the night, he wanted me to just take it easy on him with the sharpshooter. I said, yeah, I'll put it on real easy, Jerry. And when I got in the ring with him, I knew, I said, the way to do this, and if you watch me, it's kind of fun to watch, because I put it on, I got it on kind of easy. I didn't put it on, I didn't kind of crank it. And Jerry's selling it and all that. And after about 10, 20 seconds, when he started getting tired, I'm cranking him up pretty good. That's when I kind of really cranked it. I kind of made the back of his boots touch the back of his head, and cranked on him big time. And he was giving me, if you ever watch, he's reaching up and giving me the office, or to tell me to let him out, and like, enough, you know, and I'm just grinning away, stretching him. But if you watch that, you'll even see the WWE agents come in the ring, and they're all trying to plead with me to let him go and all that, and they're all pushing on me and making me hurt him even more. And which always makes me think about Jerry. He had a lot of people didn't like him for whatever reasons. I never worked for him, and I never wasn't around Jerry, so I didn't know him to not like him. Which reminds me of the first time Jerry, I remember when he first joined WWF, I remember he kept wandering around the dressing room, and he kept saying, have you seen my crown? And I was like, I didn't have the heart to tell him, like, yeah, I saw your crown. But so I kept telling him I didn't see it. it was in the shower, and I don't know what wrestlers they were that violated Jerry's crown, but there was, I'm guessing, about 8 different wrestlers that pooped in his crown. I've always wondered about, like, trying to envision that, like, which guy, like, you know, here's the crown, here's your turn, you know, like, I don't know. I never saw anybody do it, but I know that it sat in the shower, about like you can imagine. And he's like, it was like about 3 feet away on the other side of the wall, and he's going, I can't find my crown anywhere. And I remember it was like I was getting changed in that room, and I remember kept waiting for him. He's going to find it sooner or later, and he did find it sooner or later, and he was stunned and mortified. And I think it started there, and they ribbed Jerry for a little while. A lot of guys ribbed Jerry, and he went through, you know, went through that whole thing. But in saying all those things, I loved Jerry Lawler and the matches he had. I love telling the story about my brother Owen, him coming to me one day and he's going, Jerry's going too strong, you know, Jerry's talking about Dad having a heart attack, and that's too much, you know, what if he does have a heart attack? And I'm like, and I remember I wasn't too worked up about it, and he talked about Jerry, say stuff about my mom putting her false teeth in and eating herself to death or something. He always had these little old people jokes, and my dad was older in the Dead Sea and all that kind of stuff. And Owen was the one that brought it to my attention that he was going a little too strong, and that was like, we need to talk to him and tell him to lighten up. And Owen kind of got me all worked up, and I was like, okay, we're going to talk to Jerry. First chance we see him, we're going to straighten him out and tell him, like, back off, lay off our parents. And it was funny because we came home from that, on that very trip, we came home, and we both, often when we first came home, we both drive up to my parents' house and visit them both at the same time, which is funny because we always pretended like we didn't talk to each other, and we kept that alive at the house. No matter who was there, we always pretended we weren't friends. But Owen showed up at my dad's house, and my mom and dad were watching WWE on TV in the afternoon, and there's Jerry Lawler and talking about my mom and dad and all these jokes. And I remember my mom was just laughing her head off, and oh, that Jerry Lawler, and she's on and on about Jerry Lawler, and my dad's laughing and slapping his leg, and I just remember Owen and me kind of looked at each other like, go figure, you know, like, turns out that they love all the stuff that Jerry Lawler's saying about him. It gives them, you know, they found it quite hilarious, and were enjoying all the little jabs he was saying. And we never ended up ever talking to Jerry Lawler about it, because we just realized that that they loved it. And Jerry, he was a great villain. You know, I wish that a lot of the young wrestlers today could learn a lot, just learn psychology. We don't have to do the same things, but a lot of the same psychology that Jerry Lawler had. He was a great villain, and I have nothing but respect for Jerry Lawler.
Very nice.